Welcome back to the charismatic voice. Sometimes the timbre of a voice will just stick with me forever. It's like when a person sings, they're leaving an audible fingerprint. And some prints have sharper ridges or they'll leave a deeper impression. Teddy Swims has one of those voices that from the very first moment I heard it, I was struck and shocked, and I will never forget it. So I want to hear some more of his music. Let's get to it. Ooh.
I took a page out of your favorite book. You sold me lies just by the way you look. Taught me a language that I'll never speak. Baby, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. I dug my grave watching you where you move. You took me higher than I ever flew. Too many times gave you a second chance. Baby, I'm just a man. I'm just a man. No.
I have a feeling we're going to get into some sort of soaring chorus here in a little while, but I want to first give some initial impressions of the song. One of the things that's really exciting me right now is I haven't heard him in many upbeat songs yet, right? I've heard him sing primarily ballads and just wail and slay. One of the things that's so incredible about his vocal quality is this defining grit. When I talked about that fingerprint and the just the edges of it, it's like his fingerprint almost is just this one of that has graininess to it. It's an incredible, unique vocal timbre. Gosh, I mean, I don't even know like what would I do to form that if I was to model his vocal trajectory. It's so just it's so stunning to me, and it feels so authentic. And at the same time as having that grit, he also has so much soul in his sound, which is essentially there's a roundness and a depth while also having that like a little rasp and airiness. It's a combination of timbres that come together and just leave me like wanting more. I'm excited to hear more of this upbeat song because I haven't really heard him take on something much faster. This has a feeling a little bit of Megan Trainor, which I believe he actually did a collaboration with at some point recently. And I like the way that she has a lot of fun in her music. With Teddy Swims, he feels so like stripped bare and vulnerable in his singing. Hearing something that's a little bit more upbeat but still has that vulnerable sound, I'm like, oh, where is this gonna go? So let's go back to the beginning right now. I'll point out a couple other things that I like just about his initial delivery, and then we'll continue. It looks like they're on like a chessboard. One of the things that I like in just the introduction there is the variety of the snap. It's not the same snap, it's like a 1-2 snap. There are two different ones. One of them seems to actually have a longer reverb on the tail. Is that what I'm hearing? Just notice it. It's almost like a snap, 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 snap. Oh, that's ridiculous. One just feels slightly more muted than the other.
I took a page out of your favorite book. You sold me lies just by the way you look. Taught me a language that I'll never speak. Baby, that ain't for me. That ain't for me.
So he's so precise with his singing. I've heard him sing just totally stripped down covers in other circumstances where he's not being auto-tuned or anything. When he sings it, it's so hooked into the pitch. It almost has this like a slight feeling of autotune because it's so perfect. Uh, he's a very, very good singer, y'all. I like the way that when he moves, he's very, it's like on a grid when he's going between pitches. And even though he's using essentially like a dialect that feels a lot more casual, when he sings, he's locking in whatever that more casual vowel is. It isn't an Italian vowel, but it is really, really well defined and it stays the same instead of kind of getting this like mush. It's not, it's I got a great food example for y'all. Um, I love great oatmeal. I love really, really great oatmeal. This is because my husband makes the most amazing oatmeal in the world before I really didn't care. And then Kirk made me oatmeal. Okay. Someday he'll do a video about that. But really good oatmeal, it should not take all of the flavors and blend them into one. When you take a bite, you need to have the base oatmeal flavor. I think that there should be a little bit of texture there. I like the whole oats or the steel cut oats. Maybe his voice is Teddy Swims is really like the steel cut because you got the grit that's just inherently there. But then I think with great oatmeal, you should have some sort of nuts probably involved. And those nuts should not be getting mushy. Please don't put like these tiny sliced almonds and then brew it all together for hours and hours till you can't figure out where an almond actually is. Like you should have a nice crunch that defines that you have bitten into something that is still crunchy, please. I like it when you have sharp flavors in the dried fruits. Should have like a sharp dried cherry. You should have a definition between the raisin and the cherry, if you're using raisins and cherries together, which is a really good combo. So that's when I'm talking here about the vowels. He isn't creating one hodgepodge of vowel when he sings. Instead, it is very, very clear each time. We're getting nice, distinctive colors of different vowels as he's moving along. And it's going pretty quickly.
You saw me lies just by the way you look.
He locks into a position each time.
That I'll never speak. Baby, that ain't for me. That ain't for me.
That ain't for me. Is he even doing an R coloration on the
Never speak. Baby, that ain't for me.
For me? That his ain't. He doesn't even spend much time with the diphthong of ain't because he's going for that pure vowel right away. And then for me, he gets to such a nice bright E vowel. Like he's got fantastic vowels. Okay, I'll let us go on a little bit further. I'm guessing there's a lot more juicy goodness to analyze in here.
Taught me a language that I'll never speak. Baby, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. I dug my grave watching you where you move.
Cool
You
paths.
took me higher than I ever flew. Too many times gave you a second chance. Baby, I'm just a man. I'm just a man. No more thinking about you late night. No more running around with your friends now. Done picking the pieces of my soul about the floor. I said I would die for you, baby.
Yes.
But I can't take this pain no more. I thought I was willing, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. I don't wanna lose you, baby, but I can't play this game no more. I thought it would kill me, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. You never.
That delivered. I've got like happy shivers and goosebumps and giggles because I just get so excited when I hear him take his voice up high. He's such a solid voice down low, but I get thrilled when he goes up into that upper part. It like almost sounds like the voice is gonna fall apart, but as singer, voice teacher, and voice scientist, I'm actually not at all scared about his voice falling apart up there. I got to tell you, I don't, even though it starts like we start to hear almost what sounds like a fraying, I'm not concerned about it. And it's hard to pinpoint exactly what makes me not concerned, But one of the things that I can tell you makes me feel really confident in the vocal production is when he comes back down, the voice has so much beautiful closure still. It's like he knows how to get just enough grit into the sound. Gosh, I'm actually really curious how he's making that extra distortion on top now. Uh, let's go back a little bit.
No more thinking about you late night. No more running around with your friends now. Done picking the pieces of my soul apart.
So in that section that has so much beautiful vocal fold efficiency, he has this like gorgeous set of harmonics that are hanging out above his voice that indicate to me um, really, really lovely closure of the vocal folds, essentially. Um, when I work with people on singing, a lot of times one of the things we'll focus on is vocal efficiency. We'll do things like SOVT, semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, meaning we'll sing through a straw, we'll go make all kinds of weird noises that might seem really silly, helps break the ice for sure, but really there is a very strong and measurable goal that we're aiming for. We're reflecting air pressure back towards the vocal tract, back towards your vocal cords, and helping them come together more easily. We've measured this in many, many studies at this point. We know that doing SOVT exercises makes singing easier. That's the quick summary of it. And when I hear that ease in the voice, it's coming together and it's making more harmonics, so more overtones above. It'll create this sense of essentially more richness of tone, while also being easier to create a pitch in the first place. His voice sounds so easy here, and it's rich on so many different levels. If I was just to take it and isolate it and look at it in a spectrogram, we would see all of these harmonics lighting up, being like, oh my gosh, his vocal folds are so happy right now, just in this little part.
More thinking about you late night. No more running around with your friends now. Done picking the pieces of my soul about the floor. I said I would die for you, baby.
And right there is the point that I find incredibly, it was the first major set of goosebumps. Before you're like, okay, amazing, beautiful production of the sound, and then it gets to there, and the thing that's so beautiful is that it basically starts to fall apart, but in the best of ways.
I said I would die for you, baby, but I can't take this pain no more. I thought I was willing, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. I don't wanna lose you, baby, but I can't play this game no more. I thought it would kill me, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. You never thought this day would ever come, but I looked you in the eyes and pulled the rug. You try to take away my sanity, baby, that ain't for me, that ain't for me.
We got to talk about another aspect of his voice that I find just so pleasing, and that is the agility that he has. I mean, he's a big guy, and he can pack a punch with his voice. He can wail, wail, wail. I love hearing in this more upbeat song. He's featuring more of that agility, which I think is super smart and a great way to uh, honestly to show off his chops a little bit more, but also to bring some variety to the songs that he's releasing. And with his voice, when you add to it the grit, just the pure potential size of it, it'd be really tempting to wail all the time. And that means that he'd be putting a lot more breath pressure underneath, and the vocal folds would be smacking together much harder. There's also going to be a risk of more vocal damage in that case as well. But instead, what he does he's able to thin the sound out. So he still keeps the edge of the sound super clean, but the we're getting a thinner vocal fold that's making the overall sound so it's not as heavy. When it's a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter, often it's a little easier to move around. So people will often lighten up the voice a little bit if they're going to be doing a bunch of runs back to back. And I think when you hear him delivering some of these faster lyrics, he's actually bouncing around on the pitches pretty fast too, super cleanly. And it makes it feel a little bit breezy and easy, partly because he has lightened his voice up so well.
Thought it would kill me, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. You never thought this day would
Right.
ever come.
Like pattering.
When I looked you in the eyes and pulled the rug, you try to take away my sanity. Baby, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. Oh no, we're thinking about you late night. No, we're running around with your friends now. They're picking up pieces of my soul from out the floor. I said I would die for you, baby, but I can't take this pain no more. I thought I was willing, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door.
I really like that line. These lyrics are pretty fantastic lyrics. But tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. Uh, I love this idea, and the song is called The Door too. This idea that sometimes the best thing that you can do for yourself is just to close the door on something. And earlier in the song, there was a sentiment of basically, I would do anything for you, I would die for you. But the continual, it feels like just like a continual dragging on of things, or the continual pain that's inflicted is too much. And I feel it's very empowering when you say, I am able to shut a door. Sometimes the most amazing things in life occur when you close the door to make room for something new. So just really, really dig that lyric. I keep thinking as I'm hearing him, and the first time I heard him was about, gosh, it was over 3 years ago. Um, and then, of course, you have Lose Control, which was like one of these big breakout moments for him. When I hear that top, I keep thinking to myself, is this related to the research we're doing? Because, we are researching heavy metal vocalists, people that are doing deathcore and screams and growls, and we're really interested in these upper laryngeal structures that are contributing to the distortion in that sound. So not just the vocal folds, which creates the pitch, but above that, there are all of these structures that can also come together in some way, smacka, 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 and create distortion on top of the sound, which is how it seems like some metal vocalists are able to sustain screams for years and years and years and not damage their voice. I am wondering where his distortion occurs, because I know that sometimes with singers in other genres, they are employing those upper laryngeal structures, but there's so little study that's actually done. There is a little bit though, okay? Not saying there's zero, but there is a little bit. And that little bit has shown that rock singers in particular will engage grit or growl using some of those upper laryngeal structures. So in his case, gosh, the sound, when it gets up there and it starts to fray, I'm almost a little nervous to say fray, because that gives the idea that his vocal folds are ripping apart. And I think in order to make this kind of sound long term, I haven't personally seen this kind of sound being made with the true vocal folds alone and being really sustainable. The true vocal folds are kind of delicate. I like to describe them as delicate flower petals, and if you smack them together too hard, they bruise or they fall off. Hopefully your vocal folds don't fall off, but you get the idea. But the structures above, essentially, once the true vocal folds have created a pitch, those structures above, if they're combining in the vocal tract, it can like interrupt whatever sound was created here. So there's an interruption. It creates noise then in the sound. And that almost sounds like what's occurring here, but it's such a unique form of distortion. I'm just really, really not sure. And I'm so intrigued by it, particularly because when he goes back down lower, it sounds so healthy. And the whole process sounds so connected to me. Doesn't sound like he's in danger at any point of losing his voice. Maybe losing control, but not losing his voice. I'm going to go back a little bit here. Right, it's really that moment. I said I would die for you, baby. There's even like a little, like, just at the very end, there's almost like a little screech off of it that makes me feel like the voice could go even higher. It's really connected. Just want to make a couple other comments interrupting this incredible scene. Like, whoa, I love the lighting shift and the image of things exploding on the table and him essentially being immovable at this moment. Wow, okay, what a moment to interrupt, Elizabeth, but we're going to interrupt it anyway. I want to mention, as I'm continually hearing those harmonics in his voice, I just want to make it really clear. The vocal folds are creating the pitch initially, right? It almost sounds like a reed, if you've ever heard a reed played without an oboe attached to it. It's very, it's not actually a very nice sound, just the pitch being created by the vocal folds. But as the sound travels up, it then gets marinated in, it's like there's this resonance chamber. And if you've got a really good resonance chamber, your chamber's gonna be like a nice bathroom with tile, and it's gonna bounce all that sound wave around and make it sound even cooler, right? If your original sound wave is not as pure or strong, then you're not gonna have as much to bounce around, which is why when I hear him and I'm like, oh my gosh, the harmonics, even though those harmonics are created by the resonance chamber, you're not gonna have as great harmonics if the original sound isn't efficient. And that's why the harmonics indicate to me, ooh, beautiful efficiency there. I continue to hear them throughout. I'm really, really loving them. Gosh, there was another thing I wanted to mention, but I'm taken by the scene that's about to happen. Canter. I really love what they did with the songwriting there. Dropping dropping so many of the instruments out and letting us just focus on his incredible timbre was a great decision. And then creating that tension in the music video as well was brilliant. Really, really cool. The truth is, Teddy's voice like really doesn't need much on it. If anything, on it. I guess to match the sound around, you need some production to make it all continuous. But like his voice doesn't even need a microphone. Like you could just sit there in a room and just be like, wow, incredible, right? So I think it was such a smart decision to be like, Teddy's voice has got this. It's gonna be fine. Yes, please. Love those kinds of moments. Side note, I'm not, we'll see when this video releases, but he is nominated for a Grammy this year as Best New Artist. And he's not really, this category for the Grammys is kind of weird because it's like a new artist, but it's really an artist that has made a significant breakthrough in that year. So Teddy Swims has been around for years. He's been building up that cred. And then this last year, he just really showed an impressive breakthrough, especially with online presence. So he's nominated in that category. Made me super excited to see him. And there are 8 artists nominated total, several of whom actually opened for Taylor Swift on the tour. So I'm wishing him tons of luck. I was really excited to see him recognized in this way.
But tonight I saved my life. I said I would die for you, baby. But I can't take this pain no more.
It's a good
Thought I was
bass line.
willing, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. I don't wanna lose you, baby.
The production overall is great too.
This game no more. I thought it would kill me, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door.
Stoic. Nice. Oh. Ooh, the song cut off really quickly there. It cut off sooner than expected. And of course, that makes me want to repeat, go back and hear it again. It has some major mainstream appeal, and definitely it's leaning more into pop. I think it's fascinating though to hear so much of that soul, and it has like almost like a country blues rock rasp. It's we're really pulling from a lot of different genres for this sound. I really, really like it. I hope that Teddy continues to thrive in his career and continues to reach many more people. If you want to see some of those early Teddy Swims reactions and analyses videos, I'll put a couple up over here, and maybe also add to that some Chris Stapleton, who I've always thought had like a similar vibe going, similar but different. But those are 2 artists that I like to put on the same playlist for myself. So I'll put them on the same playlist for you, and may you fall more in love with music every day.